Hello, this is Brian Whitten and ET Art. I had thought long about whether I should make another video, but there was something I actually wanted to straighten up, or straighten out I should say. Before I get started though, if you're a young child, or 12 and under, I would expect you, probably best if you went and got your mum and dad to watch this first before you came back and completed watching the video, because there's a few things that you rather difficult to come to terms with. For the others that have watched my channel to this point, you'll know I've brought this plate up before. Those of you that have not watched my channel before, I wanted to tell you what this plate was for very quickly again. The Earth's rotation around the Sun is not a natural thing. It was managed ever since our other star. We used to have two suns. Ever since one of them was flung off, the management of our Earth around the Sun is managed. The unnatural cycle that had just finished is 6,000 years long and traverses through 180 degrees. That's what happens. The plane of our planet moves from one point around to the other 180 degrees, and divide the both of those and the answer is 33.3. So 6,000 years divided by 180 degrees of rotation is 33.3. What I'm telling you is not a secret. There are many people that know full well what I'm telling you is true. I wanted to bring this plate up. It was found in America. It's deemed to be a Chinese plate. I'll tell you what it's doing. This is telling us our planet's travel. The situation with the Earth is that it does not sit in one ring of rotation around the Sun. There are two. This plate is showing 1, 2, or the inner ring and the outer ring. This ring is 93 million miles from the Sun, which is in the middle, and this ring is 40 million miles beyond Mars. The Earth is cycled like this because of the problem we have with rotating in plane with that is what this plate is representing here, the plane of the Sun. Okay, the magnetic plane of the Sun, the horizontal one, is very, very narrow. It's only a couple of hundred kilometers wide. It rotates, as do the two vertical planes of magnetism of the Sun. I will install an image now where people, I think, on our planet Earth think that this inserted glyph from Gosford, which we do see in other places all over the world, it's built into buildings and structures and temples, is talking of the Earth. It's talking about the rotating planes of the Sun. Two vertical ones, and there's this horizontal one which is shown in this gold. It's why it's gold, it's colour. You also note that in here you see these little swirls going the other way. What happens is the Earth, when it sits on one of these rings, there is one cycle, an unnatural cycle that we have just finished, and what it does, the unnatural cycle, makes the Earth rotate around the Sun in a different direction. So in other words, we are coming this way now. If we imagine ourselves on the inner ring, 6,000 years ago it was going this way. That's exactly what the cycle we've just finished did. 6,000 years ago, Earth was going around the Sun in that direction. When we finish the cycle, and by the way, still spinning in the direction we're spinning, so it's still spinning anti-clockwise. The Earth itself is still rotating like this. Going in this way, it spins slower. That's what the problem is. When we come up to meet the plane here, depending on which way we're going, clockwise or anti-clockwise, depends on how fast the Earth rotates. That is one of the lessons we're getting given. The rotation, when we come into it rotating anti-clockwise, as we are now, and come into it going anti-clockwise, we incur a very, very fast whip motion of the planet. I don't want to go too much into that. We've gone in that to discuss that in Power of the Force and other videos that I put on my channel. But that's basically what happens. We do the same movement in the outer ring here as well. the movement when we are pushed out beyond Mars. The planet is flipped over like that and laid flat, and it makes its way out. And not only the plane, when I say when it gets pushed over like this, it just doesn't go out. It expands. The plane of travel like this gradually expands for 6,000 years until it gets there, and then they come back and stand the planet back up. So it can do the same thing in the outer ring as a sequence we've just finished on the inner ring. That is, rotate the planet this way and that way. When it comes back in from the outer ring is where the planet is pushed over like that and picked up like that, and that is how they achieve the directional changes here of the Earth itself. It doesn't actually change. It always spins in the direction it's currently spinning, and it's just flipped over like that in the process of moving back in from Mars. It's actually stood up halfway through, so in other words they push it over to bring it in. When they get to Mars they flip it up like that. Does the last 3,000 years going back to the inner circle or inner ring of rotation, standing upwards straight with a straight axis and very little precessional wobble. That is what happens on the way back in. And then, because we've done that, we then do the whole process again clockwise, and then we come back out, go back, do it anti-clockwise, back out, over and over and over. And if we calculate these circles, or twirls, the difference is 96,000 years per cycle for one of these, and that plate, and the count of them, puts us at roughly about 15 million years. The fact that I've just said what I've said, if we go back into the Tirumali Jan complex in India, this is a temple that is got a UFO stuck on the wall, and we are looking at the fast and slow cycles and so on, and this is where I have spoken of the destruction of the pole, the North Pole landmass being drilled out here because of the speed. Not only that, it moves our entire planet through the solar system way quicker here. You know, when we hit this on the outer ring, I don't want to go into that today. Mostly the video I wanted to put the content in, which is why I've called it evolution, is because I said to you at one point, because of these inserted images, we look at these, we look at cows, people with, you know, heads that are not human. And I said at one point that I think that maybe back then the dinosaurs had evolved to be an intelligent race of beings, and they made sure we evolved like humans and other people. That's not actually correct. I was wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. What I've just told you about will not be wrong. Everything I've just told you about the planet's movement and the length of time it's out where it is and whatnot, this is not wrong. It'll be 100% correct. What I wanted to show you with this was just to make sure that you knew that there was other places other than the gold plate that I've told you this. I've even seen this very same thing on a rock, showing me the inner and outer rings of travel on a rock that I found at the same place that my son found this inserted image now, this rock here. The line that you see running left to right is the one I identified as running through Easter Island and up through the pyramids. That it was in actual fact the line that is got the megaliths on all around the world. And then I noticed these three dots on it being reflective of the equator and the two tropics, which is then I'm now realising I have a rock in my hand on my side of the globe that is referring to the tilt of the axis, and it's on not quite the other side, not quite the line of longitude. The dead middle of the line of longitude is Ayers Rock. The part of the comet leaving South America in this inserted image is actually the same line of longitude I found the rock on. It was the leaving of the comet from the South American impact. I go around the globe, I am there. Ayers Rock is dead set in the middle, and that's why I wanted to, now there are some of you that may find what I've just told you is not correct. I've told you that it's 33.3 if we divide the length of time by the degrees travelled. It is not the only thing. There is Hiroshima, Nagasaki, 9/11, the British nuclear tests at Mar-a-Lago, the British war in Argentina. All of these things are on the very same line of longitude. It is not coincidence. The very people that know it 33.3 as our Masons, these are the secrets of history that we are not told. We've covered this glyph in the pyramids before. You get told by some people that they're tuning forks. They are not tuning forks. He's dealt with at the end of the cycle when we come back to lift the globe up or straighten the globe. But he's dealt with each and every time at the end of the unnatural cycles, which is why you do not get taught a true history of the earth. It is exactly why. That is why you're not getting told the truth. This is the man that's dealt with at the end of every cycle. This man here with these are not tuning forks. There will be people in our world that will go around and tell you that it's a load of rubbish. Here just telling you more loads of rubbish. You are seeing their sacrificial knives. It's a blade. It's one blade on one side of the knife. They are who is dealt with, which is the other reason why I wanted to make the video. Because we must come to terms with the understanding that if these people are going to be dealt with, we are talking about sacrificing children, sacrificing humans, eating our own kind. It's no doubt they're going to get smashed. You get more of them on the planet than there are ones that don't want to do it. You finish the human race. We don't persist beyond a point. If we get to a point where we've got more of them than we've got of the people that we will not do such a thing, to sell their children down the road for profit. Anybody that lives on our world that looks and utilises their own youth for financial gain, movement up in society, or that you're chopping them up and eating them, you're out of here. This is going to be a situation where you are going to get a lesson. And that's the other reason why I made this video, because I don't see in their lessons to us such a lesson with such accuracy on millions and billions of river rocks. You can dispute this image here is not on a rock, it's on a rock. As I will show you some today, which is the other reason why I actually show you this inserted image here. These two pictures or three pictures I show you now of the rock that we will have a look at. If you're a native to North America, I hope you stay to the end of this video, because as it was the last video I put up, or one of the last ones, showed you the Uluru Ayers Rock. As it was very an amazing image, and I thought, well, I had said something wrong and I wanted to come back and fix it. So what I wanted to do is talk about this person here in our society and how he will be dealt with. Okay, but I want you to take note of these knives there. The images I have on the screen now are sought and found by doing a Google search for Mayan dinosaur rocks. I wanted to come back to here because I made, like I said, an error. And if I look at the Egyptian inserted, images here, we're talking about cows' heads on people. I think what we're actually looking at, and I said that maybe they're reptilians, had in actual fact given everybody else, through some manipulation, and being humans, the ability to evolve in a star system that we couldn't have evolved in. It's impossible for evolution of any species of the planet's surface to evolve with our Earth being pushed in and out beyond Mars as it is on these unnatural cycles. It's impossible. There is never ever the time, and never has been for 15 million years. One of the ones I wanted you to look at here, and as far as seeing the image here, and one I just showed you was a knife, is this image here. So I'm going to open this image up and we'll have a look at what it looks like and the reason why I want to show you this image. The image I wanted to show you with a rock, which is why I wanted to show you the knife on the Egyptian relief, is that we're seeing here, in my opinion, what happens. In other words, to come down here and just kill everybody that is not, that is one of these people, a 666 person, a person that thinks it's okay to chop up and eat a baby. There are some of you brought into that, and we've discussed this before, at very, very young ages. There is no lesson taught coming in. If you come into somebody and you are a man on our planet with a grudge against another human, and for whatever reason it is you come up, and whether it be with a gun or whatever, but you take that person's life and you think, well, there you go, I taught you a lesson. Well, you taught yourself a lesson, you get found out and you go into jail and you get taught a whole lot of other lessons. I do not see these people with the intelligence to roll our planet beyond Mars and back for 15 million years as giving a lesson to these people with this knife. I show you that knife because it's exactly the same knife. Designed exactly the same. He's telling us what happens, what your penance is here, what is going to happen. The people don't get killed. They don't come down here and think, I'm going to teach you a lesson, bang in the head and dead. Where is the lesson taught there? There is none. The whole thing here is a lesson. The planetary motion, the way the planet spins, where they put it in the solar system. The whole lot is a whole lesson on planetary science and planetary motion in the solar system. Why would you come down and just kill people? It's still not going to happen that way. What we're seeing here, in my opinion, this is done by these people. But they are saying, if you want to live in an advanced society and be so primal as to eat your own children, or to let them be rented down the road for sexual, gratification of a neighbour in the hope that you get a better car in your driveway or a bigger house. This is what's going to happen. We have movies like Jurassic Park. I believe what's happened there is another planet and the dinosaurs are not extinct on that one. And you are put there with what you have, your skin, and that's it. And you are put back into another world. If you will act that primal in an advanced society, they put you back where it all began, which is right there. I'll show you one other image that I found very interesting, and this is why I wanted to come back and make this video, because I said that the advancing reptilians had in actual fact given mankind the chance to advance. That is incorrect. It's quite the opposite. They evolved together. Dinosaurs and humans have evolved together, and I've actually got a rock that has told me exactly that. And it was important that I put it back up, but I was telling you here, I'm seeing that without doubt as what's going to happen. It does not make sense, nor does it make any sense whatsoever to come down and just kill a whole lot of people. There are lessons left, right and centre here. There is no lesson taught to anybody that you kill on the spot. He will be taught a lesson. And they, once again, I would say, like I said, this is what's going to happen to the worst of the 666 guys. You will be made fend for yourself on a planet where these things are not they're not extinct. You are going to live on another world. It's going to be somewhat confronting for you, I can assure you. Having said that, they're giving you many, many, many chances to do the right thing. I'll show you one other thing that I wanted to show you before I move on. I want you to have a close look at this image. Are we not seeing a hominoid? ride a dinosaur. What we're seeing here, and having looked at the inserted Egyptian glyphs that we've looked at now, with horses or cows' heads on hominoid species. And we're not seeing here a hominoid that is also got an attachment to a dinosaur, which I will now insert. The dinosaur that we're now looking at is a duck-billed dinosaur. When you do a search, it comes up with a whole lot of different types of dinosaurs that are like that. We've seen this image before on another video. I'll do an inserted image now of another rock. This was the chip rock. I'll insert the chip rock for you. This image that we're looking at came off that rock. And it's undoubtedly a dinosaur wearing glasses. He's saying I was intelligent. I believe here he's telling us how this all came about. The hominoid species, a species of hominoid on our planet, I would suspect a North American Indian. But in actual fact he didn't ride a horse 15 million years ago or 16 million years ago. Ironically, the amount of hours in a day when we hit the plane of the sun and we dealt with this rotational increase of speed, we lose 8 hours a day. We end up with 16 hours a day of light and night, 8 hours of light and 8 hours of dark. That's what we get. That is what is in the lessons. We've come to this point. I wanted to come here because we're watching here him tell us how we all got to be smart. It was not he, the reptilian, who allowed humans to advance. It was a hominoid species that tamed a dinosaur to be a species that the dinosaurs themselves become intelligent through the process of using them. That's what happened. What's happened is a dinosaur, the one that we've just installed, has been used as a domestic animal by a group of hominoid species in North America, and that was hundreds of millions of years ago. If we go back to the situation of the plate is reflective of around 15 to 16 million, so let's say about 16 million. 16 million years ago, prior to that, we were advanced, very, very advanced race of beings on the planet that were a mixture of the hominoid species that we had on the Earth, which is the ones we are, everybody like we are now, on multiple planets, 3 planets we've discussed being put into one. But we are seeing here, I believe he's telling us exactly how the reptilian became intelligent. It was actually through the domestication of dinosaurs. I'll show you other things now. We'll go and have a look at this rock, and I'm going to show you a few images of the videos I took from it. They were amazing, absolutely amazing. One of them was directly related to this, which was a North American Indian, and that is why I wanted to come back and make the video, because I actually thought I didn't pay enough respect, or my understanding of the message was that humans weren't there then, but they were. We were very, very advanced already. By this I would expect that in actual fact the reptilians become very, very smart, because they were in actual fact a domesticated pet, but they were very smart themselves, and therefore they too evolved with mankind. The image you see on the screen now is an image I have off the rock. I'm going to start this video off. Before I go on to the part about North America, most of what I'm seeing on this rock, if I insert, I'll insert the rock again for you just to show you what it looks like. Most of it was to do with the Americas, a whole lot of it actually. In this part, and I've said to you already, there are things that needed to be done. The Serapeum is a building that's used to explain to us the very narrow band of magnetism of the sun, causing a major problem. It's actually one of the things, this circled portion here, is showing that the first impact only drove us, the planet itself, 100 kilometres up. It couldn't go any further. The plane of the sun, the magnetic horizontal plane, grabs the core of the planet so hard. So, you know, it's very, very, very strong. That's a problem. Why I wanted to come back to this rock, and I'll start this video off and put us in the right position to where I wanted you to see what it was. Now I'm just going to let that play, and I'm going to show you what it is I saw. It is really quite amazing, but right on this side here, there's a Christmas tree here, right there. And then you see this other shape take behind it here. There's a shape right behind it. There's like a semicircle with another semicircle inside of the image, but you can see a Christmas tree here. And when I saw this, I thought, oh, why am I seeing a Christmas tree? I know we've discussed the date. This is 5th and 6th of November this year, when there are comets required to knock back 2 degrees of our axis. That's what's going to happen. It's also going to be used to slow the globe's rotational speed a bit. That's going to happen on about the 5th and 6th of November. I wanted you to look at this mark here. I get it to where it's good, because I then thought, well, why am I seeing a big Christmas tree? It's huge. And then I looked it up, and fair enough, this big Christmas tree is in Brazil. That's what happens. That's I want to show you the racetrack. Notice this shape here. There's a loop like that, and then there's another loop coming around behind it here. There's a loop that way and a loop that way. Look at this racetrack. This is right behind where they have the big Christmas tree in South America. I will also show you these two inserted images here. This is the rock that used to say 4 in Roman numerals. Have a look at the South America shape there, and have a look at this one here where it says 17. Look at the difference in South America. There's a major event going to occur in South America as well. I just wanted to show you that part because I found that extremely interesting. With this image we're seeing here now, I perceive that what I see here when I get this in the right light is in actual fact the comet that needs to straighten the globe here. It's actually England. I think when I move this, I'll move this into a position here where I get the light changing just a little bit, and we get to see, in my opinion, the entire landmass of England getting moved here out of the way. When I get this in the right light, you'll see what you see is this turns into rolling green hills down here across the English landmass, and behind here, about now when I start moving the light, you'll see a country road go down here, and you'll see a little township come up here, and you're seeing the entire landmass here get lifted by a huge boulder. This is exactly what's going to happen in England. It will remove greater majority of the UK landmass. It's a 240 kilometre wide comet. We've already discussed this in my other videos. They're very accurate in the way they depict what is going to happen. That is what you're seeing here, right there. You are seeing the English landmass being lifted up. A whole lot of it is going to be pushed north. I would imagine they're going to start rebuilding the North Pole, putting a landmass back there to get balanced. The rotational speed of the planet is a lot to take into contention. They will be here earlier. They have to be. That's what I'm seeing here. Without doubt, that is what I see when I see that. There's villages and little houses down along this ridge here, and you're seeing the rolling hills, and you're seeing the whole lot of the landmass being lifted up here. It's really quite profound, that. I wanted to show you that one. It is on the same rock, albeit it not, in my opinion, that is not an American incident. The American incident in New York Harbour is another thing. Now I've just stopped that video where it is so I can point to you where I believe we're seeing the North American and South American continent here. This is the west coast of South America here. This is the continent of South America up to the Gulf. You'll see as I move the rock around that the North American continent is in this area, but then what it does after that, once I move it away from this and move the light around, the light source shows a city across the top here. And like I said, one of the events, not the one from the 6th of November or the 5th of November, but there is an event that is due in the 20th of December 2020. That is when the event is used to straighten the globe, and that's why they have to come to get prepared for that. They have to, I believe from the message I'm seeing, tilt the axis a couple of degrees prior to that, and that tilting of the axis by 2 degrees, the slowing of the globe's speed of rotation, is in November this year, next month. You know, it's not far away. I'll press play on this now and I'll point out to you where I perceive we are seeing things. And like I said, that's the top of South America here, and you go up to the Gulf, and then you start to see, as I move this around, I will cut bits out so you're not sitting here waiting. And we'll see a city start to come up across here, and bridges. This is where, you can see the impact here, right here is where it has to happen. Where we tilted the globe down here with the, this is what stopped the tilt of the globe last time, was the inserted Central American impact. The South American one, this inserted image now, is the South American impact that tilted the globe. The Central American one stopped the tilt of the globe. And then what I did was I come up here and I started seeing, well, you know, I got the light in the right spot here. I start seeing the cities across here, and bridges and linking bridges and sorts of things like that. Now I'm going to move the light source a bit. Like I said, you can see what I'm saying here. This is a predicted event. This is in 2020 though. This is the one that's used to stop the tilt of the globe. The UK one is going to be used to stand it back up, and the one in New York Harbour is the one that stops the tilt, and that's where we'll sit for the next 16,000 years, although I believe we seem to get pushed above the plane every 5,000 years or so. Now I've started off the other video that I mentioned at the start, which was the North American Indian video. I want you to have a look at what we're seeing here, because in my opinion we are getting our history lesson taught to us here, which is why I wanted to go and put that picture of the dinosaur being ridden by a hominoid. A hominoid does have a head piece on. Now I still see that we are being told in this one that the dinosaur, which is why we're seeing this black duck-billed dinosaur view here, which is what this is. And this here is seeing the hominoid, how advanced the North American Indians were at the time. So in other words, they were evolving themselves. So mankind is evolving here, right? At the same time he is evolving. Watch what happens to these two faces, because they tell you what they evolved into. That duck-billed dinosaur evolves into a large-headed alien here, a reptilian alien with a large head, and that facial feature there turns into, without doubt, I've just moved away here, so I go move away to get a couple of You know, from a different angle here, I start to see UFOs. I move away and come back to what I was coming back to. I'm going to let this play through because it really is quite amazing. I want you to just watch what happens. Because what you see here is you see this face turn into, without doubt, an American Indian. It is very, very, very precise. It is he. And some of the imagery I get off this, I'm astounded when I get this, and especially when I get the alien's head in here as well, because he tells us, I evolved from a dinosaur. You know, that's what he's saying. And he said, and this is what you were like in North America. And like I said, to me, it's looking to me that he's saying, as a hominoid species, that the American Indian domesticated a dinosaur. And that natural fact that he's in this at the end here, when I get the light correct, that's why I'm just letting this play, because I wanted to have a chat with you at the same time. We are seeing, without doubt, him say, well, I turned into what I turned into, which is a large-skulled reptilian. His face, the reptilian face, is so easy to see here when I get the light right. I just mess around here a little bit, but I do this just to let you know that this is what I do. You know, you've got to be a bit patient sometimes to actually get to the right spot, but when you actually get to the right spot, it is absolutely astounding as to the imagery you get here. And then I come back to where we started here, and you'll see now the alien's head come out here. It's very, very easy to see when I get it correct. This is the aliens with his big skull, and you watch that face there, it will turn into an American Indian, just there. That is nobody else, that is an American Indian face. It is what an American Indian looks like. Now we see the alien's head here, look at that. It's very, very easy to see. So he, from the dinosaur that he was, domesticated by the hominoid species, has in actual fact evolved alongside the person that had domesticated him. Because that's what's happening there. And you'll see he turns into an American Indian. About here. That is who he is. And he's saying, we evolved together here. You know, the American Indian that you see there, it's so obvious that's who it is. It can be nobody else. And it's on this rock that's what I've just showed you. It's got North America in it. And this is the alien, a reptilian. He evolved at the same time. We actually get to a point where you see this, and you see a lot of people inside here as well, with the heads looking out the windows again, which we've seen before. I just thought I'd put that in this video because I was really quite blown away to see that, and it really did make me understand just exactly what had happened. So I wanted to put that in so that you could see what I was seeing in that respect. I hope that's come out clearly, I truly do. I know I've gone away from that now, but I just wanted to show you that that light, without doubt, to me, shows that the North American Indian, which is why he is seen riding horses when the white man gets here, is because in actual fact it was he who had domesticated a dinosaur and ridden a dinosaur. And that is how the reptilians evolved. They got smarter through their association with a hominoid species in North America. It certainly would appear to be what that indicates to me. I found that absolutely astounding to get that in such a view. And here we go back to, like I said, where we're seeing the duck-billed dinosaur here. That's the duck-billed dinosaur at the time that the American Indian was more looking like this, and that the evolutionary path for millions of years brought the American Indian has evolved at the time that the dinosaurs have been, you know, he's ridden a dinosaur to a point for millions of years to the very reptilian, or the reptiles that he chose to utilise in that type of environment evolved over the millions of years. That is what I'm seeing in that message, and I thought that was really quite a profound thing. And to have seen that come up on a rock, as clearly as I see it, I hope you do see that clearly, but I can get that very, very clear at this end, and it is without doubt that he is a North American Indian. But that's all I wanted to do today. I just wanted to make you aware that the situation is that the comets are due the 5th and 6th of November. North America is going to have a largish event on the 20th of the 12th, 2020, but there are events that are required before that. Okay, so they will be used to slow the globe a little and to take about 2 degrees off the axis. That'll be done this month. Sorry, that'll be done in November this year, which is the 5th and 6th of November or thereabouts. So that's all I wanted to put in there. So thanks very much for staying with me. And before I do go, I noticed that I've got a lot more subscribers and quite a few more views. Thank you very much for staying with us. I have inserted images here that I have not paid for. We do not make any money. It's not a monetarised channel. It's just information that I need to put up as quickly as possible to make those that run our world aware of what's going to happen. But I would expect within a fortnight or so now some rather large motherships come in over our cities, and their process is here to protect mankind. And from those that are on our planet that are this 666 mob, you need to come to the terms with your decisions to persist in your behaviour. Is not looking real good. You need to come to terms with that. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to do. It's hard to explain how that is going to be managed. I certainly do not know. Certain things I would expect, like I said, that the people that will be put on a planet that the dinosaurs are not extinct on, I think they will just vanish. Their clothes will drop to the ground and they will be removed. And that will happen very shortly. So I just don't see, there is no lesson taught in killing a person. There never has been. So I cannot see the people coming here to make sure mankind live doing the same thing that they don't want you to do. So I would see that everybody would be kept alive, but the people that are on our planet that are going to make the moves beyond now will be intelligent people, smart people, but more than anything, they will be good people. They won't be the ones that sell their children or their children's innocence, or take the life of a child, or eat human flesh, or drink human blood. They will not be on the planet once we get past 2020. That's all from Brian Whitten and ETR. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I hope that the images I saw there of the North American Indian and the ET or dinosaur that he rode many millions of years ago, is in actual fact they evolved to be extremely smart, because they were smart enough to put our Earth back on a rotational plane at the point in time that it happened. So understand that that's what we're being told here, that humans and the reptilians, at the point that this happened 15 million years ago, were already travelling and traversing through the stars. They would have to have been for us to all be here. So that is what I wanted to let you know. There are a lot of things that we get taught in history. Most of it's a load of rubbish. But our true history is written on the rocks at your feet, at the rivers. Isn't that amazing? Thank you very much. This is Brian Whitten and ET Art. Have a nice day. Bye.